G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so very good to see you. Today I am wearing I'm a Bit Vintage, the t-shirt. This image here was commissioned by me for my very first book back in 2011, and I'm very excited to have it here on t-shirts as well as trucker hats, and you can get it in all sorts of places. But anyhow, to the subject at hand. Let's talk about what are we expecting from Nikon 2021, 2022 and beyond. What are the camera bodies that we expect to see? Last time we would have talked about this, there was no such thing as the ZFC. The ZFC, well, it was a little bit out of left field. There it is right there. With the vlogging grip, by the way. Pretty cool. Works. Nice. And of course, a lot of people considered the Z9 a unicorn. I never considered the Z9 a unicorn because Nikon would never show us images of what the camera looked like and talk about the fact that it's coming out and talk about the fact that it's going to be their best camera ever, unless that's what they thought was going to happen. So the world has changed. We have seen the Z9 in the wild. It's actually being used at the Olympics. And the ZFC is here and it's very much shipping and it's a super success and lots of people love it. Let's have a look at how the arrival of the ZFC and the imminent arrival of the Z9 is going to change our thinking for what Nikon is doing next. It seems to be a little bit in the conversation, and of course it makes sense because the ZFC is here and the Z9 is most definitely real. I'd like to have a shout out to Grays of Westminster. Loved your video on this topic and I thought I would throw my 5 cents in. Let's chat sometime soon. I would love to do that. We can knock our heads together and see if we can solve the problems of the Nikon universe. Hi to you guys on the other side of the world. I can't wait to visit your store one day when travel is allowed again. Let's do it. So the Z9, it is real. It is here. People are using it. They're taking photos with it. And perhaps sometime pretty soon, we might even get some leaked images from the Olympics. We do know that Nikon is basing their Z9 marketing campaign on images created around the Olympics. And we do often see from Nikon with the D4, D5, D6, etc. series cameras that they often create their marketing around sports and action and wildlife. Makes sense. This is some of the areas where a camera like this is aimed at. So the Z9 is real. We can move that to one side in our brains and we simply look forward to it arriving. When is it going to arrive? Glad you asked. We are still told that it's the end of this year. Let's just quickly talk about where the Z9 fits in and how that fits with history so far. Now back something like 5-ish years ago, the D5 arrived. Then there was the D500 and then there was the D850. So history tells us, it informs us what Nikon might be doing next. Of course, the D5 arrived and technology like the focus technology trickled down to the D500 and the D850. This is happening again in that roughly 4-odd year cycle. The Z9 is arriving, and yes, that technology will trickle down to what's next. From my perspective, the Z8 will be what's next. Some may argue that the Z9 can cover what the D5/D6, D500 and D850 do. Now we believe the Z9 because we've heard it so many times and we know that it's an 8K camera. We believe it's going to be 45 megapixels. So a Z9 can be a D850, 45 megapixels. Of course it can be a D6, way more megapixels than there are there. And then it can be cropped to APS-C, coming in around the 20 megapixel mark, making it also a D500 replacement. There it is, all 3 cameras in one. But there are a couple of issues there. The first one being that the D6 does rather stress out your wallet. That's issue number 1. Next is the fact of just the very size and weight in itself. Now, we have been able to ascertain from the images to date that the Z9 is going to be a little bit smaller, but it's not going to be a lot smaller. It'll probably be a little bit lighter, but it won't be a lot lighter. And some people simply don't want the vertical grip and all of the extra volume that comes with these full-bodied cameras. And also, do they need or want this larger full-size battery? So, there are those that simply don't want a Z9 to replace a D500 and a D850. With those reasons, size, weight, scale, and cost, I think there's no question that a Z8 will be looming. What will the Z8 be? Well, let's have a little bit of a think about it. The D6/D5 is about half, not quite, but about half the size of a D850. So will a Z8 be twice the size of a Z9? It's hard to believe they're going to push out as far as 90 megapixels, but indeed, Sony have made a 100 megapixel 35mm sensor, so it's possible. I think it's probably going to sit somewhere more between 60 and 80 megapixels in a Z8. Now, of course, the A7R4 is just over 60 megapixels, and I suspect the A7R5 is in the works. So Nikon will be wanting to be somewhere in the ballpark of the A7R5. I suspect they're going to arrive at similar, within 6 months of each other, times. So it will have significantly more resolution than the Z9, and that makes perfect sense. To reiterate, from my perspective, my opinion is the Z8 will most probably arrive between 60 to 80 megapixels, a small chance of it going as high as 100. It will not be a full-sized body, thus the price will be able to be something like half the price of what a Z9 is. Yet it will, just like the D850 got most of the focus system from the D5, it will get a lot of the advantages of the focus system from the Z9. And that will be the massive differentiator between the Z8 and the Z9. Pixels, the size of the body, the lack of the vertical grip. Otherwise, similar cameras, technologically similar. But there's some massive differences right there. And of course it'll have 8K and all those sorts of things as well. As for frame rates, I don't think it'll be running at something like 30 frames per second in stills at, 60 to 80 megapixels. What does this mean for the D500? Well, you could argue that a Z8 with, let's just say, 80 megapixels down to APS-C, it's about half the size, so you get something like 35 to 40 megapixels. That is more than enough to replace your D500. So why would Nikon rush to make it? Well, there'll be a cost difference. Yes, a D500 is cheaper. Nikon have this problem of how many bodies do they want to support, and of course the Z6 III and the Z7 III are somewhere in this mix as well. They're coming, and they're going to be iteratively better than the Z6 II and the Z7 II. So let's talk about when will the Z8 arrive. Well, the Z9 we do think will be arriving still in November and December. I really kind of can't imagine it's going to be much earlier than that because of course we're in August, then we have September, October, and then it's November, December. So it's really 2.5 odd months away before those cameras are going to need to be put into boxes and starting to be shipped around the world. So I still think it's going to be November, December. The Z8 is going to be the upgraded mirrorless replacement of the D850. Yes, it is. Roughly, there's been a 4-year cycle with these cameras, with the tick-tick cycle of these cameras. Now, the 4 years is up sometime in the next 6 months, sort of in the last quarter of this year, depending on exactly when you said the D850 arrived. At that point, towards the end of this year, Nikon is still not running late. It is still 4 years. My expectation is that we would see a Z8 in the second half of next year. What's going to happen is the Z9 is going to arrive and give it a little bit of time. Give it a couple of months, November, December, maybe January, February, for people to get excited and those first 10,000 units, 20, 50,000 units to be sold. And boom, there we are. And once that 4 or 5 months is over, I think probably maybe February, March, we might start to hear some official word from Nikon that the Z8 exists and it'll be coming later this year. So I think it'll actually look a lot like what the Z9 looked like this year, that in the first quarter we heard it existed, we got an official announcement from Nikon about it, and then it arrives at the end of the year. I think the Z8 is going to look a lot like that. An announcement, first quarter next year, and arrival last quarter next year. And that, I think, works super well. Now, will there be a D500 in that? Look, I don't think so. I think the Z8 will satiate those users for the time being. So then where does the Z6 III and the Z7 III fit in? Well, based on the 2-year timing that they've been running on, they would also arrive around the end of next year. Now, that's still possible that they maybe arrive in the third calendar quarter, maybe the fourth calendar quarter, or if that is when the Z8 drops, it could well be the start of the following year. And that's okay. The Z6 III and the Z7 III, I believe, will be iterative upgrades. We will see improvements, of course, in AF and hopefully in dynamic range and high ISO and lots of tiny little bits and pieces. And there's also a chance we might see a little bit of a bump in megapixels. I have read and heard on the internet that the sensor in the Z6 and the Z6 II, the 24 megapixel sensor, this will be the last time it's being used by Nikon. Who knows if that's true, but a little bit of a bump from say 24 to 30 I think would be appreciated by some. From my personal perspective, you've got to jump a fair way. You do need to go from something like 24 to 45 to actually really notice the difference. Now, if you're worried about the Z7 III somehow cannibalizing the Z8, I don't think there's anything to worry about there. I think the Z8 will be 60 to 80 and maybe more megapixels. And I think there's a very good chance that the Z7 III will stay at the 45 megapixels that it is, or maybe go up to 50 megapixels. So we might have a Z6 III at 30 megapixels, a Z7 III at 50 megapixels, and then a Z8 at like 70 or 80 megapixels, and they will all nicely line up and the prices will slowly come down between them, and it'll actually all make a super amount of sense. There it is. And it is possible that the Z7 III could ultimately replace the D500 because it'll be at that cheaper price point than a Z8. At APS-C, it'll be just over 20 megapixels, and it will have the AF coming from the Z9, and it'll probably shoot at something like, I'm going to guess 10 to 15 frames per second. More than enough for most applications, especially considering its price point. So let's jump to the entry level. So what do we expect from the Z30? Now, I've read rumours, I've heard, I've seen that the Z30 was basically just about to be put into mass production, and boom! Out of nowhere, out of left field came this little guy. Now look, there's a great argument for the fact that right now COVID is raging, travel is restricted depending on where you are in the world, and an entry-level camera like the Z30, which you might find in your big box retailers, isn't necessarily needed as much because people are not on the move as much, and thus why not replace it with something like the ZFC? But when the ravages of COVID start to subside and the world opens up again, that would be a great time to have an entry-level camera, super affordable. You get it with 1 or 2 kit lenses, and boom, off you go. You could argue, drop that camera in another 12 to 24 months, and that'll be when it makes the most sense. Why not? Why not have a gateway drug, the Z30, it's got the Z mount and allows you to get into the system at sub $1,000, maybe even less, sub $799 US. Absolutely amazing. Now, what of the F mount? What are our expectations around the F mount? Well, my personal opinion is after the D780, I'm really not that sure that we are going to see any more DSLRs. Pretty much all of the sentiment and traffic is ultimately moving away from SLRs, and even so Nikon, something like a year ago, still committed to their F users. I think the world is moving so quickly and the advantages of mirrorless keep improving as mirrorless keeps improving. I would be hard pressed as the CEO of the company to say, yes, we should put more money into something that people are moving away from in droves. So personally, I don't think we will see any more bodies. That's my belief. In regards to lenses, maybe, but personally, again, I just don't see it happening. And look, the reality is that Nikon have an amazing range of cameras right now. We've got the D6, the D5, the D500, the D850, the D750, and so many more amazing DSLRs, of course, including the latest D780, along with a massive range of lenses which get the job done. So what exactly do we need to add to this ecosystem? And I don't think there's any really desperate needs. Of course, there's some things that people would love, but I don't think there's anything desperate. And mirrorless is the future. So I do think with Nikon in the position that they're in, and they've got resources that they have to allocate very, very carefully, I think they'll be going into Z. Now, of course, this segues me over to, well, one place that people would be super excited their resources going to is lenses. Yes, we'd like to see the 600 prime. Yes, we'd like to see the 400mm prime. Yes, we'd like to see the 100 to 400 and the 200 to 600 zoom Z primes. And if I was Nikon, there's a lot of built up excitement for those lenses, and that is where I'd be putting my energy, not into F mount. So I don't think we're going to see too much more from F. And that's the way that it is. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for being here and listening to my opinions on what I think is going to happen next with Nikon. What are they going to do in the big areas of new bodies? Yes, there'll be a Z8, and I think it'll be towards the end of next year, being announced early next year, arriving late next year. There might be a Z30. I think that's a way off. A D500 replacement. I'm not sure we'll see that next year. And I do think we will get a Z6 and a Z7 III probably next year. And let's not forget the Z5, which I think will see a version 2 perhaps next year, and the Z52. What of that? Is that coming? I'm a little unsure. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of that stuff. Please let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time here, golly gosh, so great to see you. I'd love to see you again, so please do subscribe. Please share and like. That is so fabulous for the channel. And please, if you've got more time and you want to watch more stuff, there's over 350 episodes right now that you can watch just there. Jump on my website, mattirwin.com. Oh, channel memberships. That's all. See you very soon. Bye.